never brag about how much you'd spent. It was considered unspeakably gauche and just pathetic, insecure. Chain restaurants went into supersize mode, offering gigantic portions that would have been considered socially unacceptable to an earlier generation. Open gluttony, a moral question. During this period, here's where it really gets interesting. Let's see. A guy at the Brookings Institute has noted in the 3 decades between 1950 and 1980, personal consumption was remarkably stable, about 62% of the GDP. In the next 3 decades, it shot upward to 70% in 2008. A couple more statistics. This one's really interesting. If you take the national income, all the money that's made in America, Americans' personal debt amounted to a little more than half of it in 1960. By 2007, it had almost tripled to 133% of national income.
That's incredible.
The proportion of our debt to our income tripled. Over the past few months, these debt levels have begun to come down, but that doesn't mean we've reestablished standards of personal restraint. We've simply shifted from private debt to public debt. By 2019, federal debt will amount to an amazing 83% of the GDP. By that year, interest payments alone on the federal debt will cost $803 billion. These may seem like dry numbers, mostly a concern to budget wonks, but these numbers are outward signs of a values shift. There's to be a correction. It will require a moral and cultural movement. He brings
the
it home.
sort of reset that some people have talked about because of this near depression, but
right.
I don't know if it was deep enough to have long-term change in people.
Well, and here's, if indeed the rubber ever meets the road, here's what it will look like. Its goal will be to make the U.S. again a producer economy, not a consumer economy. It will champion a return to financial self-restraint, large and small. It will have to take on what you might call the lobbyist ethos, the righteous conviction held by everybody from the AARP to agribusiness that their groups are entitled to every possible approbation, handout, and indulgence, regardless of the larger public cost. It will have to take on the self-indulgent popular demand for low taxes and high spending. A crusade for economic self-restraint will have to rearrange the current alliances and embrace policies like energy taxes and spending cuts that are now deemed politically impossible. This sort of moral revival is what the country actually needs.
What do you think about the theory that all this is generated outward from the own personal way we live our lives? I mean, they seem to have gone together. We all personally started spending more money than we make, and companies did, and the government did.
I think the government and the corporate thing. Well, I think it's both. I think it has fed itself. But I'll tell you this, in agreement with you, it would be impossible for the government and corporate, behaviors to become what they became unless we went along with it, individually speaking. It was a solid 10 years ago, I think, that I first said, and it frightened me, that a lot of people I knew were believing the crap that Madison Avenue, the advertising industry, was trying to tell them about you can really have it all. And you deserve X. And that was the word that really, bing, in my mind made me think, wait a minute. I deserve a luxury car? In what possible sense of the word deserve do I deserve a luxury car? Nobody deserves a luxury car.
And it fits in somehow with living life to its fullest.
A perception of it that was shaped by the hundreds of billions of dollars spent by the advertising industry, which, by the way, feeds me.
Which is weird, because living life to its fullest really couldn't have any. I mean, I would think financial independence, which you only get through saving your money, would really be an opportunity to live life to its fullest.
Right.
Not having
no fear,
the nicest bedroom set available.
Right. Which is, by the way, if you wonder if we really believe this stuff, it's part of the Armstrong and Getty ethos for the companies we endorse. You're not going to hear any crap about you deserve the greatest luxury ever from us. We like kind of practical companies that do business the old-fashioned way.
Because we made poor career choices, and we got into an unstable work situation. And we have families to feed.
So you're thinking our financial morality is based entirely on fear.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is.
All right. Well, now we're A, running late, and B, really getting into the stuff of philosophers.
But that's not the reason John D. Rockefeller it was a religious thing with him.
Yeah, but so much a religious moral code has to do with keeping their people healthy and alive. It's like I'm always saying about the Torah and its prohibitions on pork and stuff. There's no way to keep pork disease-free back when the Torah was written. It's a health code. It has nothing to do with God, really. It's a health code, in my opinion. So these
how about foreskin?
Moral,
same thing.
Well, yeah, actually, has to do with cleanliness. Keeping your penis clean. How clean's your penis?
As a whistle.
Right, excellent. These moral codes that we grew up with were based on fear. In the same way that everything's based on fear. You got to stay alive and healthy, or you're dead.
My spending change is based on fear. And when everybody was spending too much, it's because we lost our fear.
Right.
I'm going to have plenty of money. I'll buy whatever.
Embrace the fear.
It's a good idea.
Smell the fear.
It's not paranoia. It's the reality of life.
You're a living animal. If you kill the last breeding female antelope, you will be dead. So is it morality or is it practicality? I don't know. It's both.
We've got Marshall's News coming up. That was heavy, man. Heavy. If I'd have been high, that would have really struck me as something amazing.
Dude.
You are listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Michael.